Hi, class. I am looking over your references assignments from last night, and I wanted to go over a couple of examples of ways to fix things. Things maybe mistakes that you might have made on yours. Maybe you see in my feedback, I mentioned a couple things, but I gathered a couple of examples. If you see yours show up, sorry, but your name's not attached, so at least you should be safe. But I like to do this from time to time. Look at assignments that we just did and review common mistakes that I saw and how to fix them. So let's look at your references page, how to correct your references page. So I'm going to minimize myself here. Here's my first example. So here we go, references. As you can see, there are 3 references here listed. Looks like most of the information is correct that I see here. The formatting, though, needs some work. So where do we start? First off, this giant references title looks cool. I like it big and all like that. But APA formatting is very strict, and it's that everything should be size 12 font. So always make sure everything's size 12. When I made it size 12, notice that this looks smaller than this. Isn't that weird? Why is that? Well, you might notice up in this corner here, as I'm clicking, the font is different. Arial Times New Roman. Interesting mistake, but it should also all be the same font. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control A to select the entire document. And then go ahead and change this to, could be to anything. I'm going to change it to Times New Roman because that's kind of a standard, but it could be any font. Not any font. You can't use crazy fonts like this. There are specific ones, but Times New Roman is fine. Calibri is fine. Arial is fine. Georgia is fine. There's a few other ones. Times New Roman, though, if you're not sure what to do, it's always the safest one to pick. So Times New Roman, size 12. Now we're all set. The next thing to fix, this is a title, right? Or a heading, depending on how you think about it. But either way, titles and headings in APA all get treated exactly the same, and that is they need to be bold. So I'm going to click this little B up here, make this guy bold. Good. It's centered. It's bold. Perfect. Also notice this page is double spaced. That's also good. So we also got that right. So that's good. So now we just need to look at each individual item. So I'm going to go ahead and double click this one so it selects the whole item itself. Now, something missing that you might have already noticed is missing. In APA format references, they all have what's called a hanging indent. What is a hanging indent? Well, this is what it looks like. I'll show you a quick way to make them. You select your item, and then you hold down Control, and you hit T. Gives it a hanging indent, just like that. Control T. If you're on a Mac, you can hold down, I think it's the Command button in T or the Apple button in T. It's the button with the weird squiggles. You do your Apple button and T. It's still the same thing, T. So let's do that to the next one too. Select this guy, hit Control T, boom, gives it a hanging indent. And then there's one more. And then we another way, by the way, if you don't want to hit Control T, I'll show you the other way to do it. Up here, the complex way, this little guy, this little button here, you click on that. It's where you change your spacing, but you also can change your line spacing options. Go in there, under indentation, under special, you click hanging. Make sure it has a ½ inch, and then go OK, and it ends exactly the same way. So Control T or using that button up there. So here we go. Now, this looks pretty good, right? Well, it's close to pretty good. Let's look at each one and make sure. Let's double check. You always got to double check. So let's look at this first author, BD_admin. That stands out to me as a bit weird. So I looked it up. I looked at this website. What is going on with this website? If I click on it right now, what will happen? Will it show us? Yay, it shows us. So this website is from Amnesty International. It's kind of, my framing's weird on it, but there is no author. That's what my point of that is. Looking through this, I don't find the author. I think that this student is saying AI as Amnesty International, and maybe they saw this written somewhere, but my guess is just an admin. So what do you do when there's no author? Well, you don't panic. You just erase this part, and you put in the title of the actual piece, which for this is Key Facts on Abortion. So let me go ahead and Control C to copy that, hit backspace to erase it, click my cursor right here in front, hit Control V, and now it's, get rid of that extra space there. Now we have it, right? The title, the date, and then the organization. Perfect, perfect. That one's great. Now that I did that, I noticed there's like an extra space in front of these ones down here, so you got to be very careful of little things like spacing. Let's go ahead and fix that. Ooh, I fixed that strangely. I hit the wrong button, so I'm going to try it again. There we go. Okay, so the first one's fixed. What this one? Kinsella, comma, M, period. See this blue underlining? That's telling me something's wrong. What's wrong is there needs to be a space between that period and that parentheses. So like I said, a lot of technical things about spacing. Let's what else about this? This else looks great. What about this one? Notice this. Okay. Okay, so we got a whole lot of information instead of an author. My guess is this is the title, which is perfect. It's what you want. But if you look at it, you notice it repeats itself. The author, it says all this, and then it says it all one more time. My guess is, who knows, but maybe this student used a reference creator, like online. There's a lot of those. If you use one of those, you always got to double check because sometimes strange things happen. So if you have something like this where it's repeated, just erase one. There we go. And then they don't have a date. Instead, they have just this n.d. business. What is that about? Well, if you don't know a date, then you put in no date, as in this, n.d. meaning no date. So this last example is a really good one of if you don't know the author or the date, you can still write a reference. You just use the title and then put no date and then put where this came from. Yeah, I'm wondering, looking at this more, the women's rights movement, that sounds like the title. This maybe sounds like where it came from. In fact, I'm going to go and follow that link to see. To follow a link, you hold down Control and you click it. The women's rights movement, yep, and it's, So I think that this should be more correctly done like this. Let's take this part. I'm going to go ahead and copy, backspace, get rid of it, get rid of the extra line there, and put this. There's an extra period right there too. See that period? There. And put this, there we go. Because now we have the title, and then we have no date, and then we have where it's from, and then we have the link. Perfect. Notice up here, this student wrote retrieved on this date from this link. That is the old APA format. You don't need that. That's not a mistake. You're not going to lose points if you put that in there, but you don't need it. This now is 100% correct. As far as I can tell, this is a perfect references page. So that's how you'd correct it. Let's look at one more. Here's another one. And so let's first off make sure it's all size 12. Oh, I saw an 11 up there. I think this is not size 12. Yeah. And then we'll make sure it's all same font. Okay, good. So we got that. Now, I see the same problem as far as hanging indents, right? But I noticed something also. Everything is single spaced. So let's go highlight everything. Click this little guy we went to before. Go to 2.0 for double space. Your whole essay should be double spaced. So here we go. Now it's all spread out. Looks nice. So let's look at this guy. Let's go ahead and put a hanging indent for each one. So I'm going to hold Control T. Notice this didn't go back. Why is that? That's because this student hit the Enter button at the end of this line and made this a separate line. So to fix it, I put the cursor in front of it, hit backspace to bring it so that now it's linked to that line, and then it pops in the right spot. So let's highlight this again. Let's highlight this one and try the same thing. Control T. Ooh, what just happened? Control T. There we go. This one is doing something. Oh, because these are two separate citations. Oh, wait, no, it isn't. Something's weird with this one. I'm gonna have to check that out too, right? Let's go ahead and highlight this one. Control T. And then let's do this last one. Control T. All right, so there's still a couple of weird little stutters. In order to fix those, I put the cursor right in the front, hit the backspace button until it lines it all up. So hit the backspace. The whole point of doing this is you need to link it into as being one item. If you hit enter in the middle of it, it breaks it up. So backspace, backspace, there we go. Now everything has a beautiful hanging indent. This one has too much of a hanging indent because I did something weird there. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix it by coming up here and doing it the complex way because I accidentally gave it too much of one. So I'm going to change it specifically to exactly where I want it, 0.5 inches. Now everything's where they should be. Yay! So let's look at them each individually, make sure they're correct. So we have Duffy, comma C. There should be a space after the comma. Fung, comma B. There should be a space after the C. Those. Anytime you see that red underlining, it's a hint that there's probably something there to fix. Not always, but probably. So now does that look right? And so it says Duffy, comma C dash Fung, comma B and Metz, comma R. So that's not actually how APA format should look. The way to do it is to put commas, and then if you want an and symbol, you use an ampersand, like that. Yeah, it's called an ampersand. So now that's correct. And then it's got, except there's a space after that R, and there's not a space after the period. So all these little spacing things, they're all technical. Then notice we have the title, in italics. Is that correct? No. What should be in italics? When do you use italics in here? The only time you use italics in your references is when you're putting the title of like a magazine or a periodical, that kind of a thing. You're putting the title of that. So CNN business website, nope, doesn't get italics. Title of the actual article, nope, it's the title of the magazine. Like if it was from People Magazine or Popular Mechanics, or I don't know if it's like a science one, something like that. That's when you'd put that. Or if it's the title of a book, if it's the actual name of the book, put that in italics. Which people, well, none of these are books. The assignment was to have one book. So here we go. We got that fixed. Now let's go with this one. Another spacing issue. See the problem here? It says Linden, comma, I need a space. And instead of that, this should be an ampersand. There we go. And then this is in italics. Let's take that back out of italics by coming up here. And then we have Sienna Trammell. That looks good. Andrew S. Perfect. Need a period at the end of his name. Oh, we missed the period up here too. Got to be careful about our periods. Okay. And then this is definitely just the title of an article. So let's go unitalics that. And then the place. And then there we go. This looks great. This looks great to me. I think this is done at this point. This is a good references page. So that was a lot of little nitpicky things to fix, wasn't it? There's a lot of periods here and there and spaces. Do you have to do that much work on your references for this class? Yes. Yes, you do. That's kind of one of the main points of this class, is to make sure that you know how to write an essay in the right structure and the right format, so that this isn't what you're graded on, right? We don't want you to be graded on things like this when you actually write your essay. I want to be grading you on the ideas you're presenting in your essay. That's what your professors want. So all of this is just to get it out of the way, so it's all perfect, so that's not distracting from the actual point, which is your actual essay. That's what we're interested in. So we're just figuring out how to make sure that we get all the pieces in the right order now. So let me know if you have any questions about any of this. Email me. I will make you a personal video. I can make another video for the whole class, whatever you need. But that is the gist of how to fix a references page.